Hey, good morning, everybody. It's cancelthisshow.com, the show before the show, as we finish up getting together what we have going on for today. Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot. I mean, we talk, try to entertain, inform for 2 hours as it is already. We could go 3-4 hours many days. We really could. There's so much going on. And it's so interesting with the podcast because the whole concept of podcast was straight audio, quick 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I have heard people say, we just need 30 to 45 minutes to listen to. But it is interesting. All of our stats and information show that when people do listen, they listen to most of it, which is a great, great, great thing. But once you start, then you can't stop. It's longer. So it's always this concept of having a blank canvas. Or do we quick? Do we do a long? You do a live show? Do you have the taped? All of those things. So, just so much going on. We're going to get into it today. A couple interviews, lots of topics. It'll zip by the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. That's for sure. Just finishing up some notes here. We were told, and Lizzie thinks that it's a good idea. So when Lizzie says something, we do what Lizzie says.
Oh, they do.
The show before the show is a good idea. Even if they're just looking at you look down as you get your stuff together.
Yeah, I need to get my stuff together every morning. Almost every morning, I just got to get it together.
I do too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get it together the minute I leave my house, though, because my house is crazy. As soon as I get in that car and just start to drive in, I'm like, the calmness is here, believe it or not.
Yes.
It's just nuts in my house. I bet it's nuts in your house, too, with everything
No,
going
not
on.
anymore.
Oh, isn't it really?
No, life changed for me.
Oh.
Daughter in college, the other one, the one that's going to be a freshman in college now, just graduated. The most self-sufficient kid.
Well, that's good. And that's how we raise them to be.
And my younger one, during school, he's easy too. My other one, but when you have split families, he's a week on, week off.
Yeah.
And he'll be, the last 8-9 years were crazy.
Yeah. So you're deserved a break.
Now things started to slow down at the beginning of this school year, school year, back in September, October.
That's very good. Yeah, the show before the show, there's people popping on. It's nice because then they can kind of say hi and we can tell them a little bit about it. And Heather's on here, Karen, Cindy, Donna. This is early for Donna. And Donna says, do you say you're on Clout Hub? Yes, Donna, we are on Clout Hub. We've got quite a few people on Clout Hub. They don't necessarily chat on the chat, but there's a lot of people that listen on Clout Hub. And until I
we have stats? I'm curious, like on a daily basis.
Yes.
I know it's in the hundreds, right?
Yes, it's in the hundreds on Clout Hub. I was surprised about that because I never really heard of it until we did this show. And there's quite a few people that heard of it when I didn't hear about it. Mandy's on here. Joe. I bet these guys already heard about Clout Hub. Joshua's there. Joshua, I think that's the very first time I've seen you on here, Josh. I'm sure Josh listens, but I just haven't seen him on here that early. Really cool dude. There's people, I think our biggest chat is definitely Facebook, but, and it depends on the day. Sometimes there's a lot of people on Rumble. Sometimes there's not. And then there's YouTube, which is interesting about YouTube. People chat after the show on YouTube, but people come on live there too. But, if you've got something to say and you've got some rowdy things to talk about, you probably want to be on the Facebook feed right now. But people are starting to go over to Rumble and YouTube, and definitely podcasting is the way to go because people are very smart and understand you can say more if you're not on terrestrial radio.
Oh, yeah. Well, the stats are showing that people listen to podcasts are more passionate.
Yes.
You're on it for a reason. That's why marketers should all the stats are like, whoa. Hey, well, we've always done it this way. We've done it. And then now they're starting to see some stats.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, and the passionate people are going to use their products too, because they're going to support the people who they listen to about their passions and what they find important. We have some really great sponsors. Bindi was telling me that she went to Complete Auto Body and Repair, and they were about half the price of a competitor.
Nice.
and did a lot better job.
Can you bring that up at 9:00
Yes,
today?
I
We've
most
got an
certainly will.
interview with Sandy Travis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She works at the I'm trying to remember. She works at the Cottleville location.
And that's great. And that's where one of our cars went, and Bindi took hers to Cottleville as well.
Yeah, we've got so much to get
We really
so
do.
much to get to today. Hi, is that Karen? Oh, hi, Karen. I listen on YouTube because I can do PIP if I need to use my phone. And we continue to say, share the show, share the show, share the show. And let people know. Like, subscribe, all of that. Just to get past all those algorithms, by the way.
Oh, and somebody's on here. Mandy says, Lizzie, my son went to your preschool. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes, I had my podcasting brain and didn't look at the name close enough. That is so exciting. We have a lot of people that do that.
Karen, Joshua, Mandy, Donna, hello, Mary, Joe, Karen, Heather, Cindy, Trisha, Timothy. Yes, good morning to everybody. All right. Let's rock and roll. We got a lot to get to today. It's the Cancel This Hour, June 1st. We'll get into it. All right, Joe, let's start it on up. Hey guys, welcome into Cancel This. It's canceltheshow.com. Once again, cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson en route. He was sick yesterday. We've got Lizzie Sparks in studio running the chat board as she normally does. And Pro Joe taking care of everything on the engineering side. Oh, great. I didn't see this. Thanks, Paul, for starting the show off right. That's why we're here, to make sure everybody knows. He says another $100 million to Ukraine. Wonderful, 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 if you can believe that crap. That's what the country's become. You still vote for Biden, you vote for Democrats, you're going to send all the money to Ukraine. And before you know it, you're going to be like, oh, well, I didn't realize it was all going there and they're not doing anything. And it's the war that never ends. Donna says, does chatting live help the algorithm? I don't know. I'm not sure. Unless you're chatting live on YouTube, Rumble, Cloud Hub. Maybe it would that way. What it really does is because you're making comments in those spaces, and if you like that plays along with those algorithms, and we appreciate that very, very much. Robert says the advantages of other platforms is that you can pause the live feed and pick back up where you left off, as I am working at the same time that I listen as well. We know a lot of people do that too. Welcome into June 1st, this podcast of canceltheshow.com. Please check out all of our original content that's there all the time. It's all there for you. All those evergreen segments, go back through. You can share those as well with the public. And we say like, subscribe, share all of the platforms. Whatever platform you're using, like it. Please hit that little thumbs up button. If you know of anybody, send it. That also goes for our listeners on podcast. And you go to those sites at canceltheshow.com. I mean, there's several sites to listen to as we do the podcast. And of course, you get that all the time. And of course, you can always watch us. You can just go to any of those platforms as well and watch our shows at the same point in time. Coming up today on the show. All right, 9:00, we're going to have a quick interview with one of it's our show sponsor, Complete Auto Body Repair. We continue to have people who are going to their shop and telling us and telling them and saying that they like it. Quick interview about what they can do for everybody there. If you have any car questions, let us know from that standpoint. 9:30, looking forward to an interview with Mark Ludwig. He's become pretty popular, not only in the state of Missouri, but across the country for rights of both parents, 50-50 custody. Why that's so important. He is the executive director of Americans for Equal Shared Parenting. And anybody that's been through a divorce or has friends that been through divorces, this can become a massive issue. And it needs to be talked about. And it certainly educates and informs people on what they can do, what the rights are. He has a bill that he'll talk about from that standpoint as well. He works all around the country as a speaker when it comes to equal shared parenting, why it's good, why it can help. And of course, there's different examples for every family and personal situation, but this is where it starts. You start from the shared parenting standpoint. He'll explain why he's there. Okay. How about this? I'll try to do this as fast as I can for today. We're a news show, but we're also a podcast. So we do both. We hit lots of headlines and we try to hit them as much as we can. The FBI confirms the existence of documents, or at least one document, alleging the Biden criminal family. Oh, yes, that's right. One exists. We'll get into it. Christopher Wray on the hot seat. He didn't do that. We'll tell you why he says it's out there now. The House passed the debt ceiling deal. We'll tell you what's going to happen next.
Oh, I can't wait.
Donald Trump really pissed me off yesterday. I'm telling you, I don't.
You and a lot of other people.
And with good reason. I'm telling you, I don't. He's more cranky.
I don't know.
He's getting more freaking cranky and doing crap that he shouldn't be doing.
Right.
But something made me happy that one of my favorite female anchors at ESPN, she responded to the hate she was getting from another female from USA Today. She had a great one-liner, which makes sense. We'll get into that. The Department of Justice, we know what they're about. Oh, yeah. They start attacking the West Virginia governor as soon as he decides to run for Senate and replace Joe Manchin. Oh, they're suing him. We're going to tell you what kind of a massive lead the first polling showed, and then guess what? He gets sued by the DOJ. You people, wake up. We always tell you this. Most of you are. Also, another bit of good news from the University of North Carolina Medical School regarding DEI. So much to get into. We love your participation. Let us know what's going on. First, check out our partners. We can't make this work without our partners. This doesn't work without you. We're grateful for the donations that you can give at canceltheshow.com. If you know of partners, advertisers, people that want to get involved with us, whether it's in the Missouri area or across the country from a national sponsorship standpoint, let us know. Here are some of the partners we have right now.
House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last. Like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during our solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
Jonathan, what does make Rockwood so special?
Rockwood, we carbonize it higher than anybody else does. So we're cooking out everything that produces ash, smoke, anything like that. It gives you a lot more control over the temperature, a lot more control over the fire, and it's 100% Missouri product.
All right, where can people get it?
It's at 100-plus locations around St. Louis, any Deerberg, Straub's, meat markets, wine and cheese stores, hardware stores, you name it, we're around St. Louis. Just check the website.
And good charcoal should be able to break apart in your hands like
absolutely,
does,
yeah.
Right?
If you can't break it apart by hand, it's not charcoal yet. It's still wood. They didn't do the job, so make sure it can break apart by hand.
All right, get your Rockwood charcoal. Let's talk roofs. Voted best roofing pro in all of St. Charles County, RJR and Associates Roofing has been protecting people from the chaotic Missouri weather for over 20 years. Business and homeowners, whether you need to patch a leaky roof or it's just time for a completely new one, RJR has got you covered. Just call our buddy Ron today at 314-852-5074. That's 314-852-5074.
Marco, wait, What, no response? Hi, I'm Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Hey guys, welcome back into canceltheshow.com. This is the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. We have so much to get to. We're going to do it today. We're kind of all over the place. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson, and Root. And, of course, Lizzie Sparks here. You've also got Pro Joe running the boards from an engineering standpoint. CancelThisShow.com. And right out of the gate, our friend Ben from over at Wendy's texted me. We're going to do more of this. On Monday, we've got 2 things. One, we're going to break down all of this, the companies, these woke agendas right now, what's happening, the latest, the research going on. But by the way, just want to remind everybody, 2 days ago, in the midst of Bud Light losing tons of market share, and we'll break that down for you Monday, they announced a new initiative with LGBTQ businesses, owners, despite all the losses. So they're doubling down. Anheuser-Busch doubling down their support. So what they did on Tuesday, they announced that they'll be extending its partnership with the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce, which started just last year. The brewing company is also donating $200,000 to the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce, the exclusive certifying body for LGBT-owned businesses. So that's Anheuser-Busch, too. Remember, that's not just Bud Light.
They don't have a choice at this point because they have lost
everything.
Everyone else. They have to focus on the people still buying their products.
Well, hey, if they're buying their product, and who's to say that the LGBT community is buying their products?
And they're probably not.
Exactly.
But you know what? When you alienate everyone
Budweiser.
else, what can you do?
I know.
Grasp onto the straws that you still have.
I know. It's all there. My. Okay. With so many topics that we have to get into today, and coming up at 9 o'clock, Sandy Travis from Complete Auto Body Care. We'll have that really quick. 9:30. Mark Ludwig talking about the shared parenting act, so to speak. He'll be giving us an opinion and the study and research and why he's got a bill out that he has right now. Okay, we've got 10 other topics that we could get into, and we're going to cover them as quickly and as in-depth as we possibly can. First things first, this really pisses me off with Donald Trump. I'm sorry, let's get to it. We'll get him out of the way. Pro Joe, when you get a chance, can we pop up his tweet? I get when people say things about you that are wrong. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. And you want so much to tell everything. You want to tell the truth about everything. Donald Trump attacked his former press secretary. By the way, the best press secretary this country's ever had. By the way, one of the most respected conservative women in this country.
Maybe he's right.
She made a mistake. And here's what he said, quote, why he would do this to the name calling and everything else. It just shows me he's unhinged. We love Donald. I love him.
Right, Vic. Maybe
I
he's
love
right.
him, but he's unhinged. This was a mistake.
I don't know.
Quote,
I don't know if I agree with that anymore.
Quote, well, you need everything you can to hang on to Donald Trump because he's the last bit of hope you have.
That is, well, also true.
And
Yeah.
if Trump is losing it, you don't have anything else to hang on to.
But we also know that Fox does these things. They've done it so many times.
But they also promote him too.
Because he's paying them to promote him.
But listen,
he's paying him.
I watch Fox every
morning. If they
morning.
didn't promote him, they would have nothing. They would have no followers.
But that's the same with everybody, Tabitha. Unlike you, I watch Fox every day.
I used to watch Fox every day, so don't act like I don't know what's on Fox.
No, but you used to.
Used to because they suck.
Okay, let me finish. You don't watch every day, so you don't know what's going on. I do. They promote Trump. They do. They promote conservative causes.
They have to.
They may not get as deep as you want them to and all the other things, and I agree with you on that, but it's still a damn good situation. If you don't have them, you don't have anything.
She's a
from that
sellout.
stand- So
Many people on the chat line think that too.
Tabitha says things just to try to.
No, I don't. That's actually how I feel. Yesterday, when we talked about this, I hadn't read the tweet. I didn't
Okay.
know exactly what was said. If she is on Fox News and she is intentionally saying that he came in lower than what the poll is at the direction of Fox, then she's right. Then he's right.
Let me finish, please. I'm going to get into this. I'm with you. Here's what Trump tweeted. Kaleigh Milquetoast, my God, McCanany just gave out the wrong poll numbers on Fox News. I am 34 points up on De Sanctimonious, not 25. While 25 is great, it's not 34. She knew the number was corrected upwards by the group that did the poll. The rhinos and globalists can ever. Fox News should only use all caps real stars. Okay. Donald Trump, what he says without the name calling and without the finger point is right. His polling numbers were said wrong. They were said wrong by Kaleigh. Now, she's saying what the poll company did. Okay, that's fine. There's a whole lot of layers to this. Why are
you defending her?
No, have I defended her yet?
Yes.
By saying that she read the poll numbers that were given to her?
Yes.
No, not defended her. I'm going to get to that in a second. Here's the problem. There is no need for Trump out of the gate. Milquetoast, De Sanctimonious, real stars. Okay, we get it.
That's what we like about Trump. He'll go after her just as hard as he goes after Democrats.
No.
And if you don't know that, then you don't know Trump's base.
He was a complete asshole. And
no, he wasn't.
Yeah, and he turned off a lot of conservatives yesterday.
The ones who didn't like him to begin with.
But
because trust
Candace Owens?
And maybe, I don't know.
Candace Owens?
Listen.
Candace Owens?
Well,
Candace Owens?
Deep down,
Candace
never
ripped him
really
online
liked
yesterday.
him,
No, she
though.
has not.
She's not really ever liked
She
him.
has spoken out against Trump many times in the past. She's on the fence.
Here's the thing. There's no need for the low blows. There just isn't.
I don't agree with you.
Call out the numbers as they are. You don't need to call the names.
If she's a sellout, if she has joined the
That's
ranks,
a big if.
If she's a sellout, and it sounds to me like she is,
she's promoted him on Fox News in the morning.
She continues to follow the propaganda of Fox National by bringing Trump down and raising other candidates up, then she is just as guilty as they are. She's a sellout.
I know.
And you know what? Everything that people, Vic, don't like about Trump, the things that people on the fence don't like about Trump, don't understand Trump. They don't understand that, yes, he may go after Kaleigh because she's a sellout and she needs to be called out for that. But
what has she done to prove that she's a sellout?
She obviously lied if she really knows the numbers.
No, but now your whole basis is put on a bunch of ifs and buts and candy and nuts.
No, I'm explaining Trump. I'm explaining Trump's tweet. He said she knows. I'm taking for his word that she knows. If she knows truly what the poll said, and she gave a figure that was not correct, as he said, at the direction of Fox News, because that's her employer now, then he has every right to be upset. The way he calls out Kaleigh and other people who turn against him, that's what we should all be doing. We don't do enough of that as conservatives. We need to call more people out that are on the fence, people who act like they're on our side, but they're not.
I agree, Tabitha.
I'm just talking about Donald Trump's tweet. I don't know myself.
You're assuming. I'm just telling you right now because I watch Fox News all the time. You don't. She promotes Trump. She does.
I'm sure she does.
And she has backed Trump.
And I'm not saying she doesn't still care about Trump, but did Fox National tell her to report the wrong numbers? We don't know. We can only speculate.
And if you're given a poll to read by your bosses, and I worked in local news for 25 years, you read the poll.
And that's called a sellout. And you can't help it in local news.
No, you can't help it in national news either.
Because I get it. But in national news, Kaleigh has an option. Newsbacks would be happy to take her. Some of these other networks would be happy to take her and hear her tell the truth. But if you work for Fox News or any news organization and you're not telling, Vic, it killed you. It was like eating away at you like a cancer when you were on Fox 2 and you couldn't tell the truth when you knew what the truth was.
Yeah, well, you knew from behind the scenes. But here's my only thing. I'm not angry at Trump for calling her out. I'm not angry about it at all. I'm just a little disturbed that he would use those type of words with her in that setting when he didn't need to. It's another example of you don't
Maybe
need
he knows she lied.
You don't need even that case. You don't call her milquetoast when she was
Milquetoast is a very nice name. I'd probably call her something far worse.
When she was the star employee of your entire administration.
That doesn't mean you can
She was your number one.
Don't be naive. People can be your number one because guess what? They're getting a paycheck. If somebody's getting a paycheck, they might be your number one. but guess what? That doesn't mean they're on your. Look at Mike Pence. I thought Mike Pence loved Trump, and he totally threw him under the bus.
By the way, he's joining the presidential primary next week as well.
Vic, are you going to vote for Mike Pence?
Hell no.
Just wondering.
Hell no.
I'm starting to wonder too.
If Trump called anybody milquetoast, it should be Mike Pence.
No kidding.
Not Kaleigh Mcenany.
Oh, I'd call him
superstar.
I love Kaleigh. I absolutely love her. I think she's fantastic. But maybe Trump is revealing something that a lot of us didn't know. Maybe she's a sellout. Maybe she'll do it for the paycheck. Man. You couldn't pay me to come in here and lie. As a matter of fact, you guys can't even pay me to shut up when I have something to say. But I would never work at somewhere like Fox National and them come out and tell me, they say the polls are a little bit less than what they are. I would tell them to things I probably shouldn't say on a podcast.
Eric, Trump, we just showed the tweet.
Yeah.
Trump ripped Kaleigh and McCarthy-Biden for giving raw poll numbers and called her milquetoast, sanctimonious, and said Fox should use real stars, not her.
Use real stars and not her.
Real, all caps, real stars.
Well, the thing I'm getting to a point where I'm tired of it out myself. Kaleigh and McCarthy, she was like a dodgeball player when she was the press secretary.
She was good.
She was like, fantastic. Best we ever had.
It was like she was playing Galaga every single day.
Galaga.
It is exactly like that, Eric.
The media was like just shooting everything at her, and she was just like a boss.
I'd like to see her against the one we got now, whatever.
Oh my God, it would
Pierre or whatever her name is.
Come on. Kaleigh Ann, she doesn't bring a damn binder up to the stage with her and start. Hold on, let me get to page 172. Oh, here we go. No, but I will say this about Trump. Trump is like a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
Whichever Eric has today.
And it's like, and you know, and I'm going to go emotional on Tabitha real fast here. You know, the girlfriend or the boyfriend in your case would be, and you have a great relationship. You're super attracted to him, and you go on the beach and you're holding hands, and it's great. And you're like, oh my God, I could live my life with this guy forever. He's fantastic. And then later at the bar, he gets really drunk and he says the most stupid ass garbage. And it's like, only if you could not drink would we be the best couple ever. But no.
That was such a great analogy.
But no, he drinks. And when you go up to the room that night, you guys get in a massive fight because of the tequila and the gin. And then the next morning, you're like, oh, maybe this will be the day it's the best relationship ever.
I feel like you know so much about me.
That's Trump. Trump is like, this could work out really good for everyone if you would just shut your mouth and stop calling the best press secretary on the planet milquetoast, which is a complete diss.
First of all, milquetoast is not a name.
No, he should be saying Kaleigh Ann was a badass, and he should even put it like that. He should go badass.
He could have phrased it.
He should have done it.
But this time she's wrong.
He should have done it gangster. But it's not just that. It's one after another, after another. If it was just one that he did back in 2000, or if he did just one and we all were talking about the grabber in the nuts or the
none of it matters.
Whatever it is,
grabber in the nuts.
And then
in this day and age, it is grab her in the nuts.
If it was just that we were talking about, I could get over that. But I'm starting to get
sexually confused today.
But I'm starting to get to a point. I think Trump's awesome. I think that he did a lot of stuff.
Does any of this matter? Isn't it about his policies? It's about
his policies are changing too, by the way.
It's about the job that he does when he's in that chair. I could care less what he says about anyone.
Yeah, because we're on the same page.
Because he's not
found common
finally, Vic. Finally.
But he's not running for dog catcher of St. Louis County. He's running for the president of the United States. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is a decorum, and I'm never going to get away from that. So however passionate you get about Donald Trump, there's this thing that a lot of us have. We would like to see the presidency with some decorum again. We would. I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
Lizzie, am I out of my mind?
God, Vic.
Lizzie, am I out of my mind?
Here's the deal on all of this. I think that, and I love Trump. I have Trump flags up all the time. I think he's probably right. In the end, he's always, I shouldn't say always, 90% right. However, sometimes he does shoot his mouth off unnecessarily that makes people like Eric do an analogy about how he acts like he's drunk and he's not even drunk.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think that was exactly Eric's analogy.
No, it was exactly my
Sometimes they're hard to
analogy.
understand.
No, my analogy.
Sometimes they're very
My
difficult to figure
analogy
out.
is he is like a girlfriend boyfriend that is, but they break up.
I get it that you don't like everything
It's like,
about him, but
no,
they
it's
otherwise are
beyond
perfect.
that because you can get past some people's quirks and stay
None
with
of
them for
it.
40 years. But there are some people.
What
It's
if,
like,
what if your boyfriend or girlfriend that gets drunk and acts like a total moron is paying all your bills? Guess what? You're going to keep them, aren't you?
not necessarily.
people
Not if
would.
you want a happy life.
Most people
Not
would.
if you want a happy life.
maybe.
Not if you want to. Money ain't everything.
You know
Tabitha.
It is to a
Don't look
lot
at
of
me like
people.
that.
But
It
this-
is to a lot of
This
people.
whole situation with Jay is interesting. Jay says, guys, regardless of what he said and how he said it to Kaleigh, he thinks it's worse what he said. And I think I agree because I stopped in my tracks yesterday when I heard this. Trump actually, in ripping, quote, Ron DeSanctimonious, said that Cuomo in New York handled COVID better than DeSantis.
Now
in
he's gone
Florida.
too far.
He said that
Tabitha,
over
defend.
the weekend, and that came out yesterday, and I went, "Oh
Here we go.
no, Donald, that's
Hold on,
true."
Vic.
That's too
Hold
much.
on, Vic. Here, put some.
He said
And
that
that's just wrong.
he
Hold
said
on.
that more people died in Florida than they did.
Well, there's
in
more
New
older
York.
people
Here we go.
in Florida,
Vic.
so that's true.
Pro Joe, put 5 minutes on the clock for Tabitha to defend that in 5, 4, 3, 2.
She's not.
Tabitha,
She just
go.
said she's
A
not.
lot of people, there were more people that died in Florida than in New York, but it's not because of DeSantis. I mean, yes, I guess yes and no. I don't know if DeSantis could have changed the rules in nursing homes, but obviously Florida is a state where there's a lot of retirees.
You're
Their
defending
elderly population is very large, much
Wow.
further.
You're
much
defending
more,
him. You are actually
much more
doing it.
than, no, I'm not defending
This
him.
is good stuff.
I'm just explaining maybe
Wow.
the facts behind what he said. And the fact is more people did die in Florida
Wrong
than in New York.
answer.
However, did DeSantis have the option of saying we're not going to have lockdowns at our nursing homes? I don't know if he had that option or
You're
not.
doing a good job. You should be on a debate team because that would have gotten you at least 10 points right there, for real. But the real answer,
I mean, factually,
the
what he
real
said is
answer,
correct.
the real answer, and you could have literally won 100 points. Is just gone. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have said that.
I don't think he should have said it.
There's
I'm
two in a
tired-
row. There's 2 in a row. Milk toast and Cuomo.
I am personally tired of him attacking DeSantis.
Oh my-
I've said that. I've said that many times.
What about-
But he
want
can
them
attack
to
Kaleigh
get
Ann.
But he can
along. Calling her milk toast is not exactly
It's bad.
an attack.
A badass
I call
woman.
you guys worse than that every day.
badass in your mind.
We're kind of hardcore though, right? We're a little rough around
Milk
the
toast
edges
is like
around
one
here.
of the nicest things. If somebody called me milk toast, I would.
I
like,
gave you
laugh.
one of the best nicknames in radio history. The militant midget does not
midget
suck.
is not
Literally.
I feel like one today because I have my flat shoes on.
I'm going to
but
have a bobblehead made of the militant midget,
I
and
liked
it'll
it.
sell 1 million units.
That's like the dumbest name ever.
Tab. I think
And not
when you-
only that, but so unpolitically.
me
correct.
and look, hold on.
It should have been militant little person.
No, that doesn't flow off the lips and the gums. Come on, man. That is a good one. I would take that one. Mine's Damian Fairchild, for God's sakes. That's horrible.
Yes,
That's the worst of
Yes, it
all.
is.
But anyway, back to DeSantis.
because that's some old soap opera person.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that either.
Yes. Anyway.
I am tired of hearing Trump attack DeSantis. We're all on the same side, aren't we? I like DeSantis.
No. You have to choose
I would
we
choose
have to
Trump over
because
DeSantis.
we have to get past this primary as fast as possible.
I
We do.
I just told you I would choose Trump over DeSantis, and the reason why is because I haven't yet. DeSantis hasn't yet earned my trust. It doesn't mean he doesn't deserve it. I don't know enough about him to know, is he playing the game? When he gets in
He's
the seat,
playing politics.
Look at McCarthy. McCarthy's probably going to be ousted here soon because he's a moron like he always has.
We're going to get
been.
into that here in just a couple of minutes too.
We know the devil Trump is. I don't like everything about Trump, but I'll tell you what, I loved his America First policies.
Well, he's bringing back abortion. Did you hear that?
What do you mean he's bringing back abortion? Abortion hasn't
basically he's some of the policies he had while he was in office. He's
Against
him hung
abortion.
on.
I just thought he was again saying that he was going to put it back at the states. I thought that's all he was saying.
Well, let's do a deep dive into what his new policies are versus what they used to be. I personally Look, I'm going to go crazy out on a limb right
Go
now.
crazy.
Ready?
Go crazy.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
If he wasn't running for president, I would be like, this is the kind of football coach you want. If you don't have this guy in your locker room, you're not winning. I'm sorry. I would take him over DeSantis like that. I would take him over Tim Scott like that. I would take him over any of the candidates like that because I resonate with those kind of people. I just do. I'm sorry. Running for the presidency and a guy that has to go sit down with Putin and the president of France and Xi Jinping and these guys, you need a guy that can have a state dinner that's not going to embarrass us in front of the world. Don't you think?
You mean like Obama? You mean like Obama?
Yeah.
I'm cool.
You're trying to say like Obama because Obama was just as smooth as could be.
I'm
He
not
was professional on every level.
I'm not talking about a president that puts us
Nice-looking
last.
guy.
I'm not talking about a president that puts us last. I'm like, welcome to the White House. We are the ass kickers of the world. You will do what I say.
Maybe the best person for the White House isn't somebody who's a smooth talker. Maybe it's somebody who's brash and says ridiculous, crazy things. And none of that matters. But you know what? Not in the grand scheme of it, none of it matters anyway because Biden's going to win again.
Oh,
there you go. Well, and we'll continue to follow and see who else Trump goes after next. Hey, I love this. I don't know if anything's going to happen with it, but at least they've admitted it. Chris Wray, the FBI director, makes you wonder how he got to his position, how he still has it. He has finally admitted that the document regarding Biden criminal family activity does exist. He has not turned it over to the House Oversight Committee yet, but the House Oversight Committee, led by Representative Comer, says, quote, if the FBI fails to hand it over, the form is FD 1023, required by subpoena. The House Oversight Committee is going to begin the contempt of Congress proceedings against Wray. He is in a world of hurt right now because it won't go away. Now, can he last it out? Maybe. But he has admitted the document does exist. Will we see it? When will we see it? How long can they make this and drag it out? But when you start to say that we're going to go after you in a contempt of Congress hearing / trial, all of a sudden he admits that the document is there, which he refused to do before. So the story's not going anywhere. It's going to get more. And then what made me think about that and put it on, Tabitha goes, okay, we know the Biden family's not going to be touched in any way. But does it take anybody and how they may feel about Biden to a different point?
Yes, it would, if they would let it come out.
What does any of it matter? I mean, does it really matter how people feel about Biden? Because Democrats are going to vote for him.
Yes, it would.
Republicans are going to
Donald Trump lost because of how people feel about him. Donald Trump lost because of how people felt about him.
They cheated, Eric, and lose because people didn't.
They lost.
That is so.
I think it's a combination of both.
Such BS.
Yeah,
it is
of both.
It is.
Yeah, you had to work it from both angles.
You're both full of it.
You have to. If you're going to cheat, you got to work it from every angle you can get your hands on.
But certainly, Democrats would not want Biden knowing that he was involved in criminal activity, right?
They don't care. Are you serious?
I'm being sarcastic.
Oh, I was going to knock you over.
What he'd have
I'm violent.
Would he have to drop out of the race?
No. Look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. This is easy. Biden was part of a pay-to-play scheme, no doubt about it. He went to these countries. We all know what he did. He was influence peddling. He's a public servant and he's a multimillionaire. You can't become a multimillionaire without writing a book or doing speaking events, and he's done none of the above. And his family is a multi-million-dollar syndicate. Now, how he did it, we're not totally sure.
We're sure. We are 100% sure.
I mean, we know that he sent in his son. His son was kind of probably the head person, and it got filtered to the brother, and then the brother got filtered to the nephews and the nieces and whatever. And he's probably got a war chest of cash waiting for him at the end of his golden rainbow.
You don't think he's getting paid underhanded for being in this role?
But here's the real. Let's just look at it in the micro.
They're paying him.
Let's look at it in the micro. In the micro, this speaks to the Durham report of the FBI not being on their game and looking very partisan. That's why Wray is in a lot of trouble. If Durham's report didn't come out, he could say, no, we're protecting the innocent here. We're not going to release this thing without redactions, blah, blah, blah. The problem is it now verifies how political the DOJ and the FBI are.
It is.
Because
we've always known
if you look at it from the smallest point, 85% of the people in the United States don't know about the story. 85% of the people don't care about the story. But the people who care about democracy care about the DOJ being in the up and up, the FBI being on the up and up, and Christopher Wray is now facing facing contempt of Congress. Which, by the way, Holder was in contempt of Congress also. Nothing happened to him.
Nothing's going to happen to him because he took direction from the White House.
But everyone the DOJ is Democrat. We know that. But once again,
nothing's going to happen.
But that's where the big story is.
Yeah, it is. It shows where Democrats are.
People who
really does.
People who are Democrat, people who are liberal, they're going to vote for a Democrat. People who are Republican are going to vote for the Republican candidate. And it doesn't matter.
We're talking about soccer moms.
Anyway,
we're talking about soccer. We're talking about the vanilla toast soccer moms.
None of it matters, Eric. None of it matters.
It does.
You know why? Because
they're don't ever listen to Tabitha in this one.
And they're going to lie. And it doesn't matter what we did.
You know what? Tabitha's kind of right, because you can manipulate 1 percentage point in the polling, but if you have an overwhelming,
do you really think that Joe Biden got 80 million votes?
No. It was mail-in ballot. They had all the mail-in
It was called cheating.
I don't think he got
cheating. Cheating. It was called cheating.
But I do agree with Eric. I think it was a combo, because when I went to different states outside of the St. Louis area, St. Charles County area, I was shocked at people that were all about Biden. I mean, people that were all about
Not
Biden.
Conservatives.
You don't know.
I mean, I think you do know if they say, "Oh, I'm all about Biden." They're clearly not conservative.
But I do believe. Like I said, there's no doubt in my mind there was cheating. But there's no doubt in my mind there were people who were pissed off at Trump too, going, "I don't trust this guy."
Will never.
People that voted for Bush at one point in time. You can say, "Oh, they were rhinos," whatever. Maybe those middle of the ground. I think the independents have lost the massive percentage, but you never know in a close election in a state. And we already know that certain states are now deciding the election, and certain counties and states are deciding a presidential election.
The electorate might like the electorate, and they always rhino's a bad 4-letter word. But people who vote might like rhinos. You ever think about that? People look like they're established.
People that like rhinos.
People who look like they're established and they're professional politicians. They don't like the outsiders so much. Like, those people freak me out. Maybe the true population of this country like the old rhinos establishment guys.
We know that's not the majority of conservatives, because we can see that through polling. We can see it through rallies. There's plenty of things we can see with our own eyes. Look at the thousands of people, sometimes hundreds of thousands of people that line up at Trump rallies and are there, for a week ahead of time to make sure they can see Trump. He has an unbelievable following that no other president has ever had. In what you see, 6 or 7 people over waving flags, and when Biden comes to town.
Let's look at the elections. Why did John McCain get slaughtered by Obama? Because he's boring. He's boring. He's a rhino. He's a rhino as well.
Very much a rhino.
But he's boring as hell.
But I will never believe that independents or people that are conservative, true conservatives, would ever vote for Joe Biden, even if they hated Trump. I will never believe that. I'm not going to say there's a handful that don't.
Oh, you're crazy.
But I think that if you're a conservative, if you're a Republican, you might not like Trump, but you're going to vote Republican regardless.
But the thing about it is, I'm grateful that Comer and the House Oversight Committee is doing what they're doing, because if the Republicans would not have won the House, none of this would even be brought to light. Now, at least there's a doubt. And who the F cares if the DOJ does something or not? Yes, it's a Democratic DOJ, and we know it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we have this information, and unlike you, Tabitha, where you don't care if you hear it or not. I know in my mind is what you would say, and I get it. Fine. I'm glad you knew in your mind. But now Democrats know.
They don't care.
It does not matter. But at least it's out there. It is out there. And if you still go and vote for a guy like that, after what you see and all the evidence and the hiding and what you're doing with your DOJ and weaponization of all topics and situations, and now it's public, then shame on you. But at least we know. And I think that's at least a starting point.
We have to
and it's
know.
better
I'm
than
with
nothing.
you on that. These things have to be uncovered. They have to be discussed, even if it's just reiterating what we always thought, that every single government organization, anything that has letters in it, is corrupt.
But speaking of
corrupt, all corrupt.
And guys, this is a massive, massive, massive story. And I was reading Charlie Kirk yesterday, regardless of what you think of him or whatever. When I saw what he posted it blew my mind. Speaking of the DOJ and the power that's there, you've got Jim Justice. He's an extremely popular governor from the state of West Virginia. Well, Jim Justice has decided that he's going to run to take out Joe Manchin and take Joe Manchin, who has a lot of friends in D.C., Republicans and Democrats, and he's been very vital to a lot of votes because he's been a swing guy in many cases. Well, Jim Justice decides he's going to run for Senate, and guess what happens? The polling's released. He had a 20-point lead on Joe Manchin. And you're like, what? Yeah. Are you kidding me? So what happens?
Well, it makes sense to me.
The DOJ.
Why does that make sense to you?
What?
Well, it makes sense to me that he would have a lead.
That he'd have a lead?
Okay.
20-point lead, damn.
Well, Democrats want to get rid of him.
Okay. So here's the deal. Jim Justice has a 20-point lead. So what does the DOJ do? They file a lawsuit against him out of nowhere saying that he and his family and their business owe $5 million. As soon as he announces that he's running for Senate, the DOJ puts a lawsuit against Joe Justice. You can't make this stuff up. All of a sudden, at least makes you go,
He's not liberal enough.
What's going on? And Joe Manchin being protected by the DOJ, this is politics at its finest. This is the kind of thing that happens. And where there's smoke, there's fire. It's a slippery slope. And it's very interesting because of what they're doing with him, because they say that it was over failing to pay more than $5 million in civil penalties assessed by the Department of Interior. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the DOJ brings us after he announces that he's going to run for the Senate.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do to you when you're trying to get ahead, is they're going to turn over every single rock and find every single thing out about you. But what is it, Al?
He has a coal. Well, he has a coal.
Why hasn't he been
operation.
Arrested yet?
Well, he has a coal operation on top of it. So that brings to mind, okay, now we can weaponize and go after you if we don't want you running. And
they do that. They sent the
Manchin
IRS.
Will lose. Manchin will lose 100% to Justice.
Yeah.
It would be over. And then you'd have a new Senate.
Well, that's the problem. Is IRS is the Taibbi. They sent him to his house the day he was testifying in Congress. Remember that? The DOJ is all over Trump like, white on rice. And now this. It's like they use it as this backdoor weapon. And it's just like oh, by the way, hey, we're here. So when you decide to do whatever it is that you're going to do, we'll just keep that in mind that, and the problem with the legal system is this: they don't even have to put you in jail. All they got to do is start something on you, and now you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole and you're diverting your attention and your energy to this other thing over here. So that is a weapon of sorts. They don't have to incarcerate you. They don't have to take your money. They don't have to perp walk you anymore. It's just this thing where you have to
bankrupt you.
You now have to go hire an Al Watkins, and Al's not cheap.
So what do you do?
You know what? You just have to keep fighting and hopefully raise funds, because, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to, you're right, Eric.
Keep fighting and raise funds. That is not a strategy.
Well, part of fighting
is the only option.
Well, part of fighting is bringing it to light and letting people know what's happening. That's the first part of fighting. You have to educate people on what's happening. You can't just, put it under the rug and think that everybody knows, because everybody doesn't know, especially in America.
I think that
that's our first line of fight, is here, bringing the information out and then trying to find solutions.
So the Durham report didn't make a dent in their armor. It didn't make a dent in the FBI and the DOJ.
A little. It was a little.
I mean, it was like a BB hitting it at an angle on top of on top of like tungsten carbide. That's about what.
And Democrats and the people who vote for Joe Biden, they still won't know. Brittany was great when we had her in, but do you remember there were issues that she wasn't even aware of?
That's what I'm saying.
They're not even aware of it. And those people aren't listening to shows like ours, so they're still not going to be aware of it.
But awareness is what we do and what we're going to continue to do.
And we absolutely must. But what people really need to do is almost like a grassroots campaign. People need to make sure that they target Democrats. If people target other conservatives who already know what's going on, somehow we have to find a way to get to the Democrats and say, this is what's going on. At least look into it. They have no idea.
Well, and that's we're grateful when you guys watch us at canceltheshow.com. Once again, canceltheshow.com. Please check out all of our partners that help make the show go. Eric Johnson here, Tabitha Hassel, Lizzie Sparks running the chat boards today. Your fingers were really fast today.
There's
a
lot of talking on all of the platforms today.
Good. That means you're getting things going.
And we remind you, like the platform that you're on, please hit the thumbs up button. That helps us with all the algorithms, just to make sure that we're getting to as many people as we possibly can. Projo making sure that we sound and look as good as we possibly can. I just get frustrated when we look at all of those topics and those things that are happening, right and left and right, the DOJ doing what they're doing, and of course, Republicans doing this, Democrats doing that. We're trying to figure out everything we can. Now, what I'm interested in too is, and from more of a positive standpoint, we've got the ESPN anchor, and I was so happy to hear Sam Ponder come out and respond yesterday. She was the anchor, if you don't remember, that Nancy Armour from USA Today called her a bigot because she didn't want biological men competing in female sports. Well, Sam Ponder from ESPN responded, and her one-line response was absolutely amazing. She said, biology is not bigotry.
It's spelled different.
Biology is not bigotry.
You're a biologist.
She clapped back a little bit, and that was to USA Today's Nancy Armour, who took issue with Ponder's support of Riley Gaines, who is all about women competing against women, not biological men against women. So once again, sometimes, Sam Ponder just sat back. She took a few days, and then she responds, bigotry is not biology. Biology is not bigotry.
Yeah.
Sam Ponder for the win. Thank you very much. I don't know if any of it is going to shut up Nancy Armour, but wow.
It won't.
Wow.
Yeah.
She continued in her quote to say, biology is not bigotry, period. Loving people does not require the absence of boundaries. So whoever came up with that quote, that statement, simply amazing. Sam Ponder will be even more popular on ESPN.
It's so stupid.
And her NFL
It
Game
is
Day
so
network.
stupid.
But it just goes to show
sorry.
you, and it goes with that power
Do
of
we
the
even have to
media,
talk about
power of the
this?
DOJ. It does. Even Sage Steele, super popular woman, African-American, biracial African-American woman on ESPN, voiced her support for Gaines as well. And she started to take hits as well, which is why it all gets back into that whole situation of awareness. You have to have awareness. You have to put all that out there. You have to make sure people understand what is happening, and of course, cover it, because you already know at the national levels you're not going to get it covered.
The fact that you were able to do that straight faced was amazing.
I kind of laughed
because it's like today, Michael Jordan is coming out of retirement, but he's identifying as a 6-year-old. He'll be playing on the 6-year-old powder puff basketball team in Chicago starting September. Not one team against Michael Jordan would have a damn chance if they didn't protect the 6-year-old kids, but he still identifies as a 6-year-old. He's a good-looking 70-year-old 6-year-old for sure. I mean, could you imagine him doing the color on that game? I mean, it's like it's unbelievable to me. It's like I'm getting married to a pig, but I identify this pig as a female. I mean, it's like where
that
does
probably
it
happen somewhere?
Where
Where
does it stop? Where does it stop? When is here's my question: when does a liberal who can see a fully developed male going against a fully developed female and getting her ass kicked, losing scholarships all over, but not winning gold, silver, or bronze anymore because there's 4 guys ahead of her? When do they get offended? Is it when humans marry sheep or goats?
They are offended. They're not allowed to speak out about it.
Does a liberal have any shame in the societal picture? Is there anything? And I don't know. I mean, maybe are you offended if your 3-year-old marries a chimpanzee? Where are the lines of social order?
Lefts won't speak up.
And
a lot of them don't agree with it. But
that
they
was
don't
not
say
rhetorical.
anything.
I really would like to know.
I know. I wish
what
they would
is
say
it?
something.
What
they
is
don't.
it?
Aaron says, Eric, once again, you remove all the morals anything goes like Sodom and Gomorrah. However, with Sam Ponder coming back and saying this, keep in mind, she works for ESPN, which is owned by Disney. And we know what Disney is all about when it comes to political opinions and political agendas. ESPN is allowing her to respond. They shut up Sage Steele about, I don't know, was it like 6 months ago when she was ripping former President Barack Obama for not accepting his white mom, her being a biracial lady herself, saying you need to accept your white parent and your black parent. You can't just be like former President Barack Obama, who refuses to admit that he is half white and half black.
Yeah.
ESPN suspended her.
That's ridiculous.
They are allowing Sam Ponder to respond, and I'm shocked. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at.
First of all, ESPN is not what it used to be.
It's because Disney owns it.
It's not. Why. I mean, if I want NFL, I go to NFL
and
Networks.
You don't go against Disney.
If I want baseball, I'll go over to Bally's any day of the week.
Oh, Todd says she's gone. I don't know.
Is she gone?
She is so popular on their football broadcast, and this is a topic I think right now that we all hate covering, but it's super popular, and you have to. She's just going about her business with a tweet supporting Riley Gaines for women, supporting women. And this woman attacks her out of nowhere, and she doesn't respond until she says biology is not bigotry. And so I'm grateful she said it. I guarantee she didn't say it without the blessing of her bosses at ESPN, which completely
the
shocked.
Only way that this makes a dent is if you show the result of what you're trying to do day in and day out. If you show a male versus a female in the 100-yard dash day in and day out, and that you see every world record being destroyed by a guy, and go watch an MMA transgendered fight a real woman sometime. You will get sick to your stomach. It's disgusting. So again, my question is, where's the line? I mean, to me, Lizzie, I would buy tickets for us. Me and you would go and watch.
I'd go and watch.
Me and you would go watch the transgendered WNBA and watch the guys just destroy the chicks.
And then I would smack the guy as he's walking out.
And we would have popcorn and we'd have beer. Oh, yeah. We would be laughing. That was fun. Do you see that guy? She was the only one that could slam the basketball.
All those women should just boycott and walk out.
But I would also, leaving there, I go, man, that really sucks for those women that went through UConn and Illinois and Missouri and came up through the ranks and became WNBA players and are making $250,000 a year. But now there's 4 of the guys on that couldn't get into the NBA. You see, you didn't believe me, Vic. No. I was right.
Okay.
These are guys that are opportunistic, that are taking advantage.
Aaron says we'll have the T NBA.
I'd go watch that too.
NBA.
I would go watch it too at Mardi Gras. Hell yeah.
The interesting thing, once again, and the reason why it is a story, I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of comments on the Ponder Armour situation. And I'm like, whoa, this is a massive story. Does it end there? We'll see. Will she be fired? Will she be allowed to say what she's saying? Because that issue is certainly, it's one that's going across party lines. There's no doubt in my mind when I see it. Women supporting women, which shouldn't be a political issue. And we'll follow it.
Well, where are the women who want to be guys? Where are they playing on the professional sports? That's all the information you need right there. That's it. You want any information? As a matter of fact, there was an interview that Serena Williams
did. Sam Ponder is her name.
Serena Williams did an interview, and she said, if I was to get on the court with the 100th ranked tennis men, he would kill me in straight sets. Remember that?
Yes.
Straight sets. Someone who's not, you don't even know, someone who doesn't even make the highlight reel on ESPN would she said it, would destroy her in straight sets.
So
could you imagine the first transgendered guy plays over at Wimbledon one day and wins the highest prize you can win there, or the whatever, where are the women who are saying, you know what, I'm not a woman anymore, I'm a man, and now I play men's professional sports? It doesn't happen. Why not? Because there is a disparity between the physicality of a man and a woman. That's all that these people are saying. It's just level the playing field. Why do you think they made women's sports and men's sports. And some nights on a Sunday night at Veta Sports, there is co-ed sports, and we all play together. It's because it's fair. It's right. It's logistically correct, right?
Yep, I agree.
And why is it so controversial to even say it?
That's true. And most co-ed sports are either third grade and below, or when you get older and you're all a little weaker, you can maybe play softball.
That's
together.
right.
But not in the prime of our life can we compete.
Because, and look, I'll be honest with you. I'm completely open-minded. If some liberal wants to come in here and go, Eric, you have, I need you to first say to me, you've asked a legitimate question. You've asked a legitimate question, and I am here from the Liberal Association of Answerers, and I've come here to tell you exactly why you're wrong. I would sit here and listen. I go, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. But no one has done that yet. They just throw it in your face and go, you're just a bigot.
Yeah, we've had a fast first hour. It is the fastest 2 hours in podcasting anywhere. Real quick, Eric, something for you and me before we take our first break, because we have a lot of stuff to get to in this hour number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who it was, but they said, damn it, Vic and Eric. Damn it, wake up. We don't care about decorum. Screw decorum. This referring to Trump and saying whatever he needs to say, however he's feeling in the day, for him calling Kellyanne milquetoast. He says decorum means nothing anymore.
Who said that?
I can't find
Joe on the comment line. I saw it. He was on YouTube.
He said it was 15 minutes. He was catching back up.
Zollner. Yeah, I absolutely.
So I wanted to give him the
agree
right.
with him.
Exactly. And I knew you would. So Eric, I thought that might fire you up just a little.
And I'm telling you, look, again, I like Lou Piniella much better as a.
He was a manager for the Yankees and Reds, Tabitha.
And also the Seattle Mariners.
And the Mariners.
And he was just a jerk, and he would rip the first base. Remember when he would rip first base and throw it when he would get in fights with the umps? And but I would take him any day over a milquetoast manager for the Cleveland Guardians or whoever the hell's up there, because they're badasses. But this is not baseball. This is the president.
No, this is actually our lives. Oh, gee, it's not baseball. And this is actually
like
our
original
lives
gangster?
And our future. And what Joe's comment was, is that basically the gist of it is that he supports Donald Trump regardless of what
Billy Martin,
everyone else says, because you know what? It's really about how our enemies feel. And you know,
good point.
What some people consider Trump's craziness is also, it has its pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
And think about this. Think about all of the world leaders out there. When somebody's unpredictable, like Trump was, you see Trump going into a meeting and they're thinking, oh, we're going to negotiate. We're going to work a deal. And Trump comes in, he says, no, F you, we're going to do it this way and this way. And then we're not walking around it any other way. And if you come over and attack us, or if you do this, we're going to drop a big old bomb on your country. You know what? We didn't have the issues with our enemies that we have right now. Look what's going on with China this week. Flew directly in front of the nose of one of our jets 2 days ago.
Correct.
Look at all of the threats over Taiwan. Look what's going on in Russia. None of this would be happening under Trump's watch. But oh my God, I'm so mad because he called Kaleigh Mcenany, whatever her name is.
Nobody's saying
toast.
My whole deal.
And I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about people in
general. It wasn't a matter of not losing my vote or my support.
I know.
It's just unneeded.
Yeah.
It's unneeded when you have everything else going on. And it has nothing to do with his ability to lead. Most CEOs, if you get to know them, they're not kind people.
No,
they're not.
No.
I've dealt with a lot of them. They're not.
No.
They're very regimented. They're here, but they're not president of the United States either.
Right.
And and I learned you can't call people names. You just can't. You can't lose your temper and call somebody a name and expect it, especially a female.
If it was a joke,
that's
if it was like if he was like this, let me play the part of Trump real fast before we go to break.
Oh my!
Hey, I'm Donald Trump, and I saw what Kaleigh said. Hey, Kaleigh, it was actually 38% and not 25%.
You sound like Rocky.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm doing my best.
He's trying.
I'm doing my best. So don't be milquetoast on me, girl. Just kidding. Love you. If he would have said something like that, I think we would all be all right with it.
I do think that's true.
But he threw a bomb.
Okay, but what does that say to our enemies? Maybe the same unpredictable.
She's not an enemy.
I know she's not. I'm saying with the same unpredictable nature that is Trump's personality. That is his personality, like it or not. That is his personality, like it or not. And I'll tell you what, that same
That's
part
the
of his
problem that you
personality.
and I have.
It's what scares our
That's
enemies.
the problem
It's what
you and
keeps
I have.
people, it's what keeps people
If
in
me
line.
and you were, if Tabitha and I were to go have a coffee,
Joe, you started it back up.
if we were to go have a coffee and we both had a spreadsheet in front of us, like, all right, Tabitha, let's read the accomplishments that Trump has done, and we were reading, we go, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes, the Middle East. Yes, I like that too. If that was the end all of Trump, me and you would be going, high five. That's a good one. All right. The problem is that he does have a personality. He does have that bomb thrower mentality, and it's the president of the United States.
So you would rather him be politically correct. You would rather him be a little
It's
Mr.
literally
nice
in the
guy.
name. It's literally in the name. Politically.
But you have to remember.
Correct.
And then we got to get to break.
He's a human.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a human. He doesn't have a speechwriter. He's not Obama. Thank God. Would you rather have Obama? Because Obama was just as smooth as could be. Mike Pence would be super smooth as a president. Would you rather have that?
Glenn says Trump punches unnecessarily.
And I agree.
Thank you.
He
Glenn.
does.
Glenn for the win. Glenn kicked it from 60 yards
And
out. That's what I was looking to say.
And that's Eric Johnson, Tabitha
Damn
Hassel,
it.
Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe making us looking good as we can. We got to take a quick break. Please check out our partners. Like and subscribe to all of those networks, those platforms that we're on. Share the show if you can. You can send us stars. We got an interview coming right back up real quick. Great company, Complete Auto Body Care. Also, coming up at 9:30, we're going to talk with Mark Ludwig about this really crucial thing that he is doing when it comes to shared parenting, why it's so important, a bill that's going on. Plus, we're going to tell you what the University of North Carolina Medical School did, where they basically just said, screw all DEI. There is backlash. There is hope, believe it or not. It just takes a few pioneers to go out there and do what they can. Also, one of the most popular real estate people in America says residential may rebound, but commercial, not so much. It's a little bit of a scary thing that she's talking about. Plus, the debt ceiling bill passed the House. It's on its way.
I just came up with an idea.
All right.
What a mess.
I just came up with an idea.
All right. We'll be back right more.
I'm a genius.
Right after this, we got a quick break. We'll come back with Sandy Travis.
Waited, and now it's here. The unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Marco, wait. What? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with EXP, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Hey guys, welcome back to cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tap of the Hassle. Lizzie Sparks taking care of all the chat boards today. Those thumbs are amazing how she types so fast. Eric Johnson in as well. Pro Joe on the boards, making sure we sound as good as we can. Coming up at 9:30, I have a very, very, very interesting interview regarding how child custody is determined right now with judges, with states, just fascinating stuff. And who's winning more, moms, dads, all of that, and why, and what it takes to change things if they are going to change in the first place. We'll talk about the University of North Carolina's med school saying no to DEI. The debt ceiling passed the House. Interesting. More Democrats supported it than Republicans, but it's still overwhelmingly passed. So it goes to the Senate now. We'll get into that. But first, we want to bring in a friend of the show now, Sandy Travis. She's the recruiting specialist for all of Complete Auto Body Repairs Hiring. And they are a massive company, host of the show. We're grateful to all the people who continue to go Complete Auto Body and Repair for their car work. Sandy, I'm not kidding when I say this. It seems like it's every other day or something. Somebody saying, oh, yeah, we went to Complete Auto Body. We had a great time at Complete Auto Body. We were out for the golf tournament. Your company rocks. And one of the reasons is you have good people, but you need to hire people too, right?
Absolutely, we do. We're always hiring. We never stop hiring.
You look great. The sound's good. What kind of jobs are you guys hiring for?
We are hiring for body techs, mechanics, A and B mechanics. We're also hiring tow truck drivers. We have porters. We do internships and apprenticeships. We hire every aspect of the thing. There's probably 32 different positions. So to go through all of them, it would be a lot, but never stop hiring. Got to find the right people, right time, right place. And it has to be a win-win for both of us or we just don't do it. So my mission is to have the right person in the right place. That's what I do. I've done recruiting for 30 years and I continue to do so for the Complete Experience, which is all of Curtis Sparks companies that we own.
Dang, did you start when you were 10 years old recruiting?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I was young. No, I wasn't young.
Sandy,
yes.
I ran into someone a week ago, and I'm glad you're here because you can answer the question for me. I didn't have an answer. And this is someone who I believe he is in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. He's never worked in auto body or mechanics, but he needs a career change. The field he was in, he was replaced by technology. It's happening. And he asked me, can I get a job at Complete Auto Body? Will they train me even at my age?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is our mission. We've all had jobs that we pull up to and we don't want to even go in. And my mission is to change that. What you're designed to be or what you'd like to be, that's what we do. And we want to grow people. I speak at a lot of schools and tech schools and all kinds of things. And we do apprenticeships and internships. So we can teach you from ground zero, but we pay you to work for us. So we're always able to coach and teach and train people. You start obviously at the lower part, which is a porter or a detailer, and you're working in the shop and cleaning the cars and keeping the shop and helping the techs and do those things. And then you also get to work with them and learn every aspect of the company. So it's really, we've had a lot of people that we've changed their lives. And that's what our mission is, to help people get what they want. They get what they want, we get everything we want. But it has to be a win-win or we just don't do it. So absolutely, put him in touch with me. I'd love to interview him.
I will do that.
All right. Sandy Travis, recruiting specialist for all of Complete Auto Body Repair. You were talking about 32 different positions open right now. If you could, again, talk about where your locations are and why these locations are the best to work at. Curtis has been on before saying, yeah, I spend a lot of money every month to make sure our employees are in the best environments they can possibly be in.
Well, we do. We have a lot of great positions. It's hard to explain each and every one of them because it's not like it used to be where an auto shop is just you go in there and work on cars and it's dirty. We have so many things. Obviously, there's so many more computers involved and things like that and technical stuff. So you can be anywhere from out in the field. If you want to wear a suit, wear a suit. Go out and market for us. If you want to be at the front desk and you're customer service driven, do that. If you're a tech and you have the skill, or even if you don't have the skill, like I said, we can train and coach you in everything that we do in our company. So with that being said, our locations are, we have, right now I'm at our Cottleville location, which is in Cottleville, Missouri, and it is one of our shops. Another thing that's great about our shops is they are climate. So they have air conditioning and heat in the bays and stuff. So climate temperature is amazing. A lot of people love that. We also have all kinds of benefits. We have every insurance you have. We have 401ks. We have PTO that we offer, all kinds of stuff. Some of our shops are in the Hazelwood and Florissant area, which is a great town that is growing back and getting back from all the things that happened over there. And we support that. That's where we originally came from. And it's very important for us to keep that community growing. And that's what we want to do. We want to grow communities. We want to give the right service. We want to take care of people. That's what we do. So
you're good at this TV thing, Sandy. We appreciate it.
Plus, this is what I do every day.
Plus, you look good. You sound good. Is it possible for us to see the body shop where you are? And we could go and, if you are allowed to go in there and show us and talk, that would be great. If not, that's fine. And if the technical didn't work, we could always go back outside. I'm just curious to show people how cool these body shops look. At least
absolutely. I have an assistant here. She's going to turn my camera around and follow me so I'm on the film with her. Okay, so give me 2 seconds.
All right, that's good. Talking with Sandy Travis. She's the recruiting specialist for Complete Auto Body Repair, 7 locations. Right now, they're talking to us from the location that's in Cottleville, and we have all kinds of information that we're starting to learn about and get right now when it comes to everything that Complete Auto Body does. Climate controlled conditions. And of course, Tabitha, we've had.
You won't find that anywhere else.
No, you don't. You guys have won me over, you and Curtis. I was like, what? We got to do this. We got to do that. But now
times change.
I totally
and you know what?
Get it.
I know so many people who work in mechanics, and my son works in mechanics and has for many years. And one of the things that he's talked about is how they have such turnover rates because it's so hot to work whenever you don't have climate control. I know you used to think it was like sissified, but it's not.
No, now we're going to, Sandy, we got you back.
We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, but I'm going to go ahead and walk in and she's going to just walk behind me.
Sure. Yeah, we're trying. Love it.
This is one of the location. So we're complete. Let's go on in and check out the store. It's an amazing location, beautifully designed.
And the closer your assistant can be to you, the better.
Yeah, so stay close. I showered. So this is the lobby of Complete Auto Body here in Cottleville. It's an amazing location, beautiful, very welcoming. Of course, we have everything over here for all of our customers and our guests that come into the location so they can relax and enjoy while they're waiting on their cars to be repaired. And here's the front desk. We're going to walk on back into the shop. So
yeah, great. That'd be fantastic. Would love to see the body shop from that standpoint. Obviously, it's not a lot of fun to always have to go to a body shop, but it's a necessary situation. So if you're going to be there, you want to be with one of the best. And of course, Complete Auto Body Repair is.
Now, this shop is mechanical only. We don't do body work here. We do mechanical work in this location at Cottleville. So you're going to see cars being worked on mechanically. Okay. So
yeah, we love it. And especially as you're showing that to us, because as we started this interview, we've had several viewers and listeners of Cancel that say they've gone in and had great experiences at Complete Auto Body Repair.
I went to the location. My Jeep was demolished by a semi truck and they completely rebuilt my Jeep.
Now it might get a little loud in here, guys. So let's just try to go through all of this and just see the shop. Here's the shop. Like I said, it's climate controlled, so it feels pretty comfy in here. The mechanics have a nice place to work for sure. I'm going to turn this just a little bit so you can see the location.
They have great location, climate controlled, clean, top quality, massive shop. We're grateful for all of the look and the behind the scenes, Sandy. That's what people get an idea of. And not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, 7 locations just like that.
That's a big place.
It's a great, great situation. We appreciate it. Bendy says you guys did a fantastic job at explaining everything to her about her car as well. So big kudos to
And that's what's really amazing is because now they all use obviously state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art stuff. They use tablets to where they can take pictures and everything and instantly text or email each client on what's happening, what needs to be done, what's immediately needs to be done, or what needs to be done in short time. So with that being said, the guys got it pretty good here, and I think it helps the clients understand when they can read it and look at it and know exactly what's happening to their automobiles and what needs to happen. Culture is our brand, so that's real important to us. Culture is like the main thing. That's why I always say the right person, right time, right place. I never stop interviewing and hiring. I might not have a position today, but 2 days from now, I could have a position. As you know, we grow rapidly, right? During COVID, we owned A to B and Complete Auto Body, and now we have like 9 companies. So with that being said, it's just amazing. Kurt is never going to stop. He's out there to help the communities and the things. That's where we come from. So that's where we want to give back. And it's really amazing how we are in there and people just know, because that's how we want it to be. We want it to be to where you can trust and come to us. We've all been to places where it might not be so, straightforward. We have the ability to be like a big corporation, but we run all our businesses family owned and operated. And that's how we want it to be. If you remember back in the days, all the big companies would have work picnics in the summer, and they just get along with all that kind of stuff and have raffles, and you bring your whole family. That's what we do here. We do several family outings and picnics and night at the ball game and things like that. We want it to be family, because you spend more time with your workplace than you do with your own family. So we are a family here, and I always say complete family because that's what we are. So if anybody's interested in any kind of a position, call me. I bet you I have something for you. Are you guys the ones I'm looking for? Please email me. I'm sandy.travis@completeab.com. Your resume and your email will come directly to me. It's Sandy, SANDIE.Travis@completeautobody.com. So,
awesome. Sandy, you've been great. Thank you so much. You got this down pat. This is easy for you.
Well, that's what I do for a living is talk. They tell me I talk too much, but that's what I do.
That's all right. You keep on talking. You keep talking for Complete Auto Body Repair. Love the relationship we have with you guys. Thank you for the support for this show. And of course, we continue to support what we can for you. Sandy, have a great day. We appreciate it. We'll have you back on, okay?
Okay, thank you. You guys have a great day and weekend as well.
All right, Sandy Travis over there at the Complete Auto Body location, which is located in Cottleville. A complete family. That very, very, very well said from that standpoint. This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson. We've also got Lizzie Sparks taking care of all the chat lines. And of course, Projo making us sound as good as we can. Another big story that came out yesterday. It all gets into Eric's backlash. Uh-oh. The sleeping giant. All it takes is the sleeping giant to wake up. I can tell you this, when I read this, I was shocked at this day and age with what's going on and all the ESG pressure, all the DEI pressure being put on companies all around the country. There is hope if you're not into it. Just like Sam Ponder was allowed to say what she said, biology is not bigotry, and stand up for women competing against women and not men. Well, yesterday you had the University of North Carolina Medical School. This is in Durham, the University of North Carolina Medical School, announcing that, no, we're disbanding our DEI framework, the diversity, equality, and inclusion framework, and we're not going to implement any of the recommendations that were made we're just going to move on. We're not going to listen to what you say about admission, hiring, promotion, and tenure. We're going to do it like we've always done it, try to be as fair as possible. Kudos to the University of North Carolina Medical School, because you just don't hear places and institutions like that doing it.
It has to go across the board. Actually, I think it would go across the board. That's an institution, right? School, higher learning.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
absolutely.
If it got into the corporate sphere, and let's say whatever corporations were like, I'm done. Bye, DEI, bye, ESG, we're done. We're gonna have shareholder meetings again. We're gonna hire people who are competent. We're done. We're just done here. We're going to market to our audience. We're not going to market via the DEI rules and regulations, the ESG. Those companies would make a fortune. Again, remember, that's what business was all about in the old days. Remember that? And I think that I would like to learn what's the ramification of that. That's one thing we've never talked about. If a company is involved in ESG or the DEI stuff, and they say, we're out, what happens to that company then, or that institution then? What is the backlash on them?
Why is it? I don't even care about anything outside of why is it tied to federal funding? Why is it tied to federal funding? Why is it that under the Biden administration, schools have to go along with these ridiculous policies if they want to get federal funding? That is the only thing I care about. Why is our government involved in sexuality? Why is our government involved in...
It's not the government.
You don't call that the government?
It's the funders. It's the funding companies.
Eric, our government, the Biden administration has said if a school does not follow these policies for transgenders and other things, we're not going to give you Title IX funding. I mean, that they very explicitly said that. Why are our schools being infiltrated with all of this ridiculous BS?
Well, you know the reason.
Well, they had a great quote. They said, quote, "The board shall neither solicit nor require an employee or applicant for academic admission or employment to affirmatively ascribe to or opine about beliefs, affiliations, ideals, or principles regarding matters of contemporary political debate or social action."
Yeah.
Powerful. They also said practices prohibited here include, but are not limited to, solicitations or requirements or statements of commitment to particular views on matters of these political debate, social action, contained on applications or qualifications for admission or employment.
I always thought that I always thought that it would be a good idea if you're applying for school, you don't give them your name. You don't give them your sex. You don't give them if you're a Caucasian, you don't give them your race. That never makes the application process. The only thing that you submit are your test scores and maybe an essay about why you want to attend this college. I always thought that, my God, diversity would come naturally. You know what I mean? It's like, because we don't know who the hell we're letting in. We don't even know your name. You're a number to us. So number applicant 161576, congratulations. Your SATs were amazing. Your testing scores were amazing. The essay on why to get into our college was amazing. Your dormitory's over there. And then you meet them. And then they get off the bus. They're like, oh, hey, how are you doing? It's nice to finally meet you. Your application process, I'll bet the diversity in our colleges would be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable because right now,
I have to agree.
Because right now it is all based on color of skin.
Yes.
It's all based on your sex. And you know what? We're gonna diffuse the pool even more because now transgenderism is gonna get a higher tick on a lot of these colleges. They already do. You're right.
No, they do.
They already do.
100%.
I think that legally in this country, because we're still supposed to have a blinder on the scales of justice on all things, I think we should have no names, no sex, and no anything. You are a number. The computer generates a number. It encodes a number.
Like it used to be.
I don't know if it ever did a number. Did it ever do that?
No, it wasn't a number, but none of that stuff was ever allowed at the schools.
Oh, no, they did say sex. They did say male, female,
male,
Caucasian, black, or Chinese, or whatever it was. I do remember that.
There weren't all these ridiculous criteria. You came in, you said your Pledge of Allegiance, your country and your God was the top things on the agenda. And now all of a sudden, all that's out the door. We don't support our country. They're bringing all these politics and sexual things into schools and indoctrinating the kids. And the government needs to, I'm all for limited government. They need to stay out of our business.
Well, I just think it would be an amazing time in this country's history if we said we're going back to academics and the top 5,000 people that apply online.
What you just said is racist.
And then they could, and that they could quantify that. They go, look, we don't know who the hell's coming in here. Here's the top 5,000.
Academics is racist, Eric. That's the world we live in right now.
What does that mean?
She's messing around with you.
I don't know what that means.
It means that we're now on a grading curve based on the lowest students in the classes, and you can no longer have honors classes.
It's like I don't know. It's like this.
It's child left
Vic,
behind.
Here you go. Vic and I will understand this one. Lizzie probably will too. If I'm a walk-on at Mizzou and I want to be the quarterback, there's this thing called a depth chart. And when you get on that depth chart, if you're fortunate enough to get on the depth chart, you know your place on that team.
Tom Brady started number 7.
That's right.
He was 7th, dead last on the depth chart at the University of Michigan.
And Ryan Leaf was number 1. But on that depth chart, you have the opportunity. There's your key word right there, Lizzie. The opportunity.
Correct.
To go up the depth chart, to make something of yourself, to get from point A to point B. That's where we need to start getting back to in this country.
Our
we
companies
really do.
would run better.
Our
would
universities would be on fire.
They would be.
They would be on fire. If you were not granted something, but you earned it, I'm done.
That's all we had. And hey, it was
get rid of that garbage.
It's one positive story against DEI, and it needs to be talked about, which is why we did it. Okay. Speaking, it seems like today's word was milquetoast for whatever reason. Thank you, Donald Trump. I think this is kind of milquetoast, but we still have to get to it. The House passed the debt ceiling deal. It's off to the Senate now. It passed 314 to 117. 314 to 117. You can look it up pretty easy. We broke down what it does 2 days ago in regards to, or yesterday in regards to, what kind of money's here, $2 trillion being saved. Some of it going to help pay for those IRS agents. Anyway, 314 to 117. So it was overwhelming in the House. Mm-hmm. Republicans approved it 149 to 71. And Democrats approved it 165 to 46.
Mm-hmm. It's because they all want to get paid. That's all that's about.
It's going to go to the Senate. It's going to pass, but
it's ridiculous.
I've got Republicans. I read their quotes that loved what McCarthy did, and then yesterday you have Republicans saying he should lose his job.
He is a complete sellout. He is the person we always thought he was without the Freedom Caucus forcing his hand to do things. He sold us out. Now, guess what? Biden has his money, his funding for his 87,000 IRS agents. They threw that back in there.
Not 87.
87,000.
No,
they have
less.
all of their funding they need for the IRS to attack Americans. Everything that Biden wanted, he got.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. They cut what?
The progressives are the ones
who cut $4 billion in spending, but gave them 3 or 4 trillion.
The progressives are pissed at Biden.
Because they want 100%. They had to lower their spending by about $4 billion. But instead, we gave them $4 trillion.
Hold on.
How do you explain that? That's not a win. That is not a win.
I'm going to put things in perspective for you.
You can't. There's no way to put this in perspective.
Maybe there is. Give him his chance.
No, there's not.
The House has a four vote majority, 4 votes, something like that, of which they could lose almost none. They have the Senate, they have the executive branch, they have everything except for 4 votes. Just the fact that they got something without defaulting.
No. Do not go there. Don't go there, Eric. You know what? Maybe we need to default. Maybe we need to teach Congress that, hey, we're not going to put up with your BS.
You can't handle it. You can't
Biden everything he wants so he can give more money to Ukraine, more money to Zelensky, more money to other countries. The only thing we got out of this is they cut spending by $4 billion. We give that much more money to Ukraine every week.
My point was this.
There is no point.
My point was this.
It's just messed up.
You lost some major elections. You did not get the Senate back on the last time. You have 3 or 4 senators that came out of nowhere and won their elections. You have Joe Biden, who has been hijacked by the far left. You came out looking a lot better than you could have. I hear you.
There's no winning in this situation. There is no winning in this situation.
Tabitha, I'm with you. Tabitha, I'm with you.
I would have believed that there was some validity to it because I keep looking for the positive rainbow that is never happening.
Yeah.
Of course it's bad. They're just blah, 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 blah. We're going to make everything more fiscally responsible from here on out if we do this. And they send $109 million right to Ukraine yesterday.
Bingo.
I mean, what in the hell?
That's why I'm saying cutting the only thing that happened in this entire deal was that we had Biden cut down by $4 billion, which is a little tiny drop in Ukraine's bucket. It would McCarthy's a sellout. I was starting to like him. Now I have changed my mind. I thought he was doing the right
what about
thing
this?
because the Freedom Caucus focus. There is nothing. You know why they did this?
No.
You know why they
I'm going to make her like him in a second. I promise you.
They came to this agreement because guess what? If the government defaults, Congress doesn't get a paycheck. So they're going to do anything they can to pass it because they don't care about us.
Aaron says it was not a cut. They will spend $4 to $6 trillion more over the rest of Biden's presidency. There's a reason Dems are doing a victory lap. Okay. There you go.
It was a cut in that it used to be $4 billion more. And we took Biden's policies down by $4 billion, which means zilch.
Well, the Republicans who were for it said it's a $2 trillion save. So that were on the committee and working through this. So there's so many damn mixed messages.
Because I listened to several speeches yesterday from different Republicans, and no, they're saying no. The only thing we did is we capped Biden's spending by $4 billion, but we're giving them another $4 trillion. So what difference does it make?
Well, your hero, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I was waiting for the laugh on that, is praising Speaker McCarthy.
Well, yeah, because
that's her boyfriend.
Do we have that photo of them?
I know. I should buy that. That's her boyfriend.
They have something going on.
She's gonna agree with everything.
I lost respect from her because she's compromised now.
I feel like she's compromised.
She's
too.
so compromised.
Okay,
she's trying to get in good.
Well, here's what's interesting.
There's little favors going on under the table.
Oh my God,
literally
under the table.
Tabitha.
I bet there'd be a
instead
show
of kickbacks.
That's how Tabitha operates.
No, that's how Marjorie Taylor Greene operates.
Tabitha.
Speaker McCarthy, though, yesterday, real quick, before we get to our guest, I got to get this out there. This is good news. This is good news. And don't say, it's not going to make a difference anyway.
It won't make a difference. There's no good news. There's no good news.
There we go.
Speaker McCarthy did give all of the January 6 tapes now to Congress. They're going to be able to put them out now.
Means the one we already saw, we already know exists, that they hid from the media.
Taylor Greene says that the tapes have been given to J. Solomon Reports. Solomon, along with others, have been given unfettered access to the tapes and will report what they find, which I find is fascinating considering after everything that went down with Tucker, Fox, J6 tapes being shown, and then all of a sudden, we don't get to see those anymore. Now he's given them to Republican outlets, so to speak. We're going to say it. So the people that still want to see
that was one of the Freedom Caucus's demands.
It doesn't matter. He got him out.
Had he not agreed,
we're going
it does
to
matter.
See them.
It does matter. Had he not agreed, they wouldn't have voted.
I'm trying to celebrate victories.
You're just trying to hang on to every thread you can to support McCarthy.
Here we go, Lizzie. Do
you even know
Tabitha? Because
I'm not saying anything.
I need to have.
Nick is a McCarthy
lover. I need my sanity just for one day.
Well, can we sing Kumbaya?
No.
Oh, okay.
The only sanity you have is if it were talking about cupcakes and the real cupcakes with the icing.
I just need Tabitha to do
and
this
lollipops
one thing.
and puppy dogs.
Oh my God!
I need you to give me at least 120 seconds of positive stuff. What in the sphere that
Lizzie,
you live
can you
in?
go get the gummies really quick for this?
Yeah, I'm going to go get them right now.
Yeah.
The marijuana gummies.
Give me some positive stuff that you think this is
green
where
light.
Just go. Just anything that where you like, you know what, Eric? Here is the positive stuff. Go.
I have something positive. Do you know my grandpa's wallet?
No.
Disappeared in 2007.
No, not that. I don't care. I don't give a damn about your damn grandfather's.
You're talking about the country.
He's dead.
I want to know.
I might need like a week to think about and try to find something.
Give me something.
I don't know of anything positive.
Give me 120 seconds of positive. I really feel good about this. Go.
What is positive is the story Vic gave about the school, saying, you know what, we're tired of this BS.
Yeah,
we're not going to do it anymore.
Sam Ponder was positive.
And there are certainly little victories that are being won. And those little victories, every time there's a little victory, there are other folks who step out of the shadows and they have their little victories too. But we need many more of those victories. We need more schools to stand up. We need more journalists to stand up. We need more victories. They're happening, but we need more of them.
I mean, you could have brought up Kim Gardner's replacement starts today.
I don't see that as necessarily a positive.
He
that's
was
a positive.
Yesterday. That's a positive.
Sworn him yesterday. That's a positive.
We'll see.
It gives you a baseline on where St. Louis was and where they're going. That's a good thing, right? Don't look at me like that. That is creepy.
That's all right. This is canceled.
We need to have him on.
Yes.
Who's that?
We do. Gabe, whatever his name is.
Gabe Gore.
Yeah, Gabe Gore.
Yeah, well, I'll reach
Absolutely.
out. I'll see what we can do.
And we'll ask him if he's received his Soros check yet.
See, look at that.
But you can't say that right out of the gate because you have a tendency. To run our guest off.
I'll give him a big hug.
Who have I run off?
You ran off Vance Crowe.
Yeah, I did not. He said he had fun on the show. I can't help that he's brainwashed.
And then the expert on all dinosaur findings in America, you're like, Tabitha. He literally said, Tabitha, I've been doing this for 25 years. These are dinosaur bones.
And he also...
And you said,
did you see the look on his face?
Not.
You said, you don't know what you're talking about.
Did you see the look on his face and his assistant's face? I didn't tell him he didn't know what he was talking about. The assistant's look was the best.
He went home and he cried.
You guys got to go look.
I love the looks on their face. But let's also point out a victory on my end is that when I showed them the photo of the museum page, the very front page at the museum, that says these are not dinosaur bones, they are fossils. They're just like, oh, well, they don't know what to say.
They were a little befuddled.
Because they're not bones, they're fossils. That was my entire point. I was right.
No.
Just admit it.
Drew says Tabitha shows no mercy, and that's why he won't come in here. But Drew, we want you to come in here. Everybody's asking him to come and be a guest.
No, we're not.
Drew,
Yes.
Yeah, I want him here.
Yes.
And Drew is a real back in
Come on, man.
In 2013, he used to come by 1380 when I was on the show there.
Did he really? Did he do a good job?
He's a real person. And he wasn't on my show. He was on a different show.
Did he do a good job on air?
Well, that's before he started getting all the facial work done to look like Michael Jackson.
Well, nothing wrong with that. That was very good.
Drew Collins is not scared to come in, trust me.
CancelThisShow.com is who we are. CancelThisShow.com with Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks running the boards as always when it comes to your chats. And Pro Joe making us sound as good as we possibly can. Very interesting topic. And this is one, man, if you've gone through divorce, if you have kids, it is a nightmare sometimes to deal with the courts. That's for sure. And today we bring in Mark Ludwig, friend of the show, executive director of Americans for Equal Shared Parenting. Mark, welcome into the studio for the first time. People may recognize you. They may not. But you have a bill regarding this. Why do we need a bill right out of the gate for equal shared parenting?
Actually, the bill passed this year, finally in Missouri after 9 years.
When I first met you, you were trying to get this passed.
Yeah, actually not me. There's a whole team of people. I tend to be sort of the media person who gets the attention, but a whole team of people worked on it. But yeah, basically what's happened for the last however many decades is when parents go through a divorce or separation, a child becomes a visitor to one of the parents. And the trauma that a kid goes through, I just can't imagine from a child's perspective. They're already confused enough. Mom and dad aren't together, and they can't articulate why they're confused. Now, all of a sudden, they only see one parent every other weekend, or in some cases less. Talk about some trauma. And that's why if you look at all the statistics of, high school dropout rates, incarceration rates, behavioral problems, drug use, every time there's a school shooting, every time, I can almost promise you that kid grew up without a father. And there are some fathers that walk away, but you don't punish the other fathers, or you don't punish the kids of the other fathers because of that.
Yeah.
So
this is awesome because you're right. The kid doesn't need to go through the trauma of a dad and a mom breaking up. They need to almost be hidden from that, wouldn't you say?
Exactly.
And the courts need to do a better job of kind of facilitating that, I would say. It's like you both want them. We have to figure out how to make this equitable for everybody. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Exactly. Everything needs to be seen from the child's perspective of what's the healthiest environment for a child. The healthiest environment for a child is to have both their parents.
Yeah.
You know, opposites attract for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, my son's mom may not be my favorite person, but you know what? That's my son's favorite person.
Yeah.
And so he needs her in his life. Each of us add value to his life in a different way. Because so many people ask, you know, wouldn't you like to get full custody?
Yeah. I hate
no,
that.
I wouldn't that. I wouldn't want full custody.
No, I hate
that's
that.
Doing the
Did you
opposite
go
of my son.
through a nightmare situation? Is that what got you involved in this?
Yeah. I went through a situation and it got featured by a lot of news channels and went around the country on social media. And,
What can you explain what happened to you? Because it had to be something pretty intense for you to devote all the time that you do to this.
Yeah, I try out of respect to my son and my son's mom. I don't want to get into too many details, but I'm the third father that's gone through this in this situation. And my son was taken from me 6 weeks after he was born. He was moved without my knowledge. It took me 204 days to get access to him.
Oh,
shortly after that, I was basically relegated to an every other weekend father. And I was just shocked because I had a background of working with kids.
Yeah.
And just absolutely shocked. And so that was when I started realizing, okay, something needs to change here. Once my story hit some of the media in St. Louis, I started getting bombarded with emails and text messages from people all around the country saying, hey, same thing happened to me. Same thing happened to me. And I realized it's a systemic problem. It wasn't a one person. I to this day, I get probably 8 to 10 messages a day from people around the country that say, you're not going to believe my story. And I tell them, not to be rude, but I already know your story because they're all almost identical. They're created, unfortunately, by the system of the Bar Association.
Yep.
I've got in the greater shared parenting community, there's over 1 million and about 1.1 million people now. And I tend to be very well recognized throughout that community. So I get a lot of people that email me saying, I didn't hate my ex near as much until I went into an attorney's office and that attorney said, look, you're not going to split custody in this state. One of you is going to win and one of you is going to lose.
Yes.
So unless you want to lose, I need you to dig up dirt on why you're the better parent. And as I said, I don't think there is a better parent.
No, I hate that too.
Exactly.
I hate that too because it's like it makes everybody go out of their way to find social media posts or to claim something against the other person. Here's the way I would do it. You go into a big conference room and you go, as the mediator, I'm not even a judge. I'm a mediator. We're going to figure this out. Because you know what? Couples that don't even go through a divorce process, they just break up and they have a kid. They sometimes can figure it out better than any court can figure it out, right? I would say
the parents themselves.
Yes,
sometimes,
yes,
but no, not all
the
time.
It's
not
like,
all the time.
Here's the deal.
Man,
it's like
my ex and I couldn't.
It's like here's the deal. We're coming into this conference room. It's 50-50 right off the bat, unless somebody is like, we can't do 50-50. So it has to start there, correct?
And that's what our new bill does. The new bill doesn't rubber stamp. The new bill says when you walk into the courtroom, the child is presumed to have equal access to both parents the same way they had the day before the divorce is the way things start.
And I also think that the children should not even be near a courtroom.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
Do people take kids to court?
Well, sometimes the judge will ask the opinion of these kids, correct?
Well, if they're over 16, right?
No.
With the younger?
Over 12 and 13.
Over
12 and 13.
Well, back when
guardian ad litems, Tabitha, are being used in a high frequency. The quote kid's attorney. They don't want kids in court, but sometimes parents have they'll force
that.
it.
Should be a no-go.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, do you want your son to say something? And I'm like, absolutely not.
Right.
I do not want my son put in the middle of this. This is between his mother and me. This is not his battle.
Yes. You start off, you know what? There should be a boilerplate template. This is how it happens. If you guys get a divorce, there's the template.
But you can't do that because every case is different.
It might be, but they start there.
Well,
every case is
unfortunately,
different.
right now, there's a rubber stamp of every other weekend. Fortunately, in Missouri, once the governor signs this on August 28th of this year in Missouri, the new system will be that a kid is presumed to have equal access to both parents unless proven otherwise.
As they should be. As they should be. But, every case is different. Nothing's cookie cutter. Back in my day, which was a long time ago, when my son and his father, when we split up, I know the courts typically always side with the mother. They almost always do. It's never fair to the father, in my opinion. So when we went and we got this all worked out, it was a crazy situation, but he ended up getting custody. It was every other weekend. And then on 1 week, it was 2 days a week. On 1 week, it was Wednesdays. The other week, it was Tuesday, Thursday. Is that confusing for kids? I know that kids need equal access to both parents, but is it confusing for kids to go back and forth? I don't know the answer
more
to that.
confusing for a kid to be taken away from one of his parents.
Yes.
Much more. And
I would think so, too.
There's been 64 peer-reviewed studies that have all said the same thing.
It's
agree. Much more traumatic for a child can adapt to go back and forth. They go back and forth to school. Yeah. They go back and forth to baseball school, yes. to baseball. They can go back and forth to a house. What they can't stand is having a parent ripped out of their life and not understanding why that happened.
By one of the other parents. And then we're talking with Mark Ludwig, Executive Director of Americans for Equal Shared Parenting. You kind of said, I guess you pointed to it a little bit. Unless there's a risk with a parent, I guess, correct?
Yeah, this isn't a rubber stamp. This just says this is a starting point, and that's the beauty of this bill. There are cases where someone's unfit, unwilling, or unable. Sadly, right now, the courtrooms are clogged with every case being thrown in there. Now what we hope is, I don't know what the percentage is going to be, but I think it's going to be around 80% of the cases can be cleared out of the courtroom that don't need to be in there, that were riled up cases by an attorney. And now the judges have the time to devote to the cases that really need the attention.
Family court is expensive, isn't it?
Oh, it drove me into bankruptcy.
Hold on,
I get it.
and let's talk about a family. Maybe the breadwinner was $55,000 a year, and the mom maybe $0 a year. But how does that kind of a family who's going to do a divorce? How do they afford the family breakup? And you know what I mean? How do they finance that stuff? How do they get into does that make any sense what I'm trying to say? It's there's so much that comes out of trying to have custody of this kid. How can we reform something like the price of just getting a divorce between the mother and the father?
Well, and that's the big key right now. As I said, attorneys realize you'll give up on your house or your car, but you'll fight to the death for your child. And they know that. So a parent walks into an attorney's office and the attorney riles them up because they know they can rack up billable hours.
And there's two attorneys, right? You can't have the same attorney, right?
So they can rile up that adversarial relationship. Imagine now if you go into that same attorney's office and they say, look, in our state, you're probably going to get 50-50. So why don't you put that money in your own kid's college fund instead of my kid's?
So my question...
I did a story where a drug dealer got 50-50 custody. I'm not kidding.
That's
it was a
insane.
news story.
That's insane.
It was a situation where a guy had it in his past and he still got custody that was similar.
Yeah, but he was a 100% custody when they were together.
An amazing attorney.
Also
too.
True.
An amazing attorney.
Is that why people oppose the bill? Because I know there are people who oppose it.
The two biggest opponents, number one is attorneys, because they know it's the money fund. I mean, it's a cash cow for them.
Yeah.
The second is the radical domestic violence groups. Now, there's a big difference between the true domestic violence groups. I would never want anyone to be abused. The challenge is there's organizations out there that have figured out there's federal grant money. If they can make it appear like there's like every male is a domestic abuser in every single case. Well, how were all these people okay to be parents the day before the divorce? And after the divorce, all of a sudden we have all these red flag issues going off with false allegations. We call it the silver bullet because it's rampant in family law.
Yeah.
We actually have district attorneys on camera training attorneys during continuing education seminars on how to file false allegations and get the upper hand in court battles.
I'm sick to my stomach. I think instead of the defund the police, it should be defund the courts, because this is ridiculous.
Well, the courts are good too.
No, they're not. No. Because here's the deal. It costs money. This should be a public expense that we help people. If you're going to get a divorce, we're really here for the kids. We don't care about you guys break up, knock yourself out, split the house up, whatever you want to do.
Too, at the federal level, there's what's known, and now there's not time to get into all the mesh of it, but what's known as Title D funding. And there is a lot of money that is paid to the state.
And that's ridiculous. Tort reform would be a good thing here. Don't you think?
Fortunately, a friend of mine, Andy and his wife, Cindy, they went through a situation with their grandson. And I had dinner with them and President Trump, I guess 4 years ago, and sat next to Andy. And I gave him my business card. And he said, you and I need to talk tomorrow. And so I go into his office and he brings his wife, Cindy, in there. And they hadn't seen their grandson in, I think, 91 days at that point.
Yeah.
And so Andy filed the first bill to try and strip some of this Title 40 funding away at the federal level. That's what we really need to have happen.
Yeah. It's disgusting because the kids are the ones we should protect, right? I don't give a damn about a couple breaking up. It happens every 20 minutes. But the thing is I think that a judge looking at the situation and saying, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, the dad has custody or the mom has custody. I think that those words should never be uttered. It's like it's 50-50. There's 30 days in a month, 15 go to you, 15 go to you guys, figure it out.
Yeah, we're talking with Mark Ludwig, Executive Director of Americans for Equal Shared Parenting. You said that this is passed in the state of Missouri. That's great news. What about other states around the country? Because we have listeners and viewers all around the country, Mark.
We're starting to make a lot of progress. Arkansas passed a rock-solid bill 2 years ago. Kentucky, West Virginia, Florida passed a couple weeks before us. Texas passed a smaller bill this past week or a week ago. So in red states, we're making great progress because they believe in the family unit. Unfortunately, in blue states, it's going the other direction where they're doing red flag laws to just rip families apart.
Oh, man. So this has become political. Go figure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a red state bill.
Are there and I don't know how any of this works. Are there advocates for children? Are there mediators who come in and say, you know what, we're not for either parent. We don't care what happened in your situation or who you are. We're here to speak for the child and what the child wants.
Question. And next year, there's going to be a bill submitted for guardian ad litem reform. I've got a couple of friends of mine, Jeff and Jeremy, that are working on a bill next year to make some serious changes in that aspect because there should be someone speaking for the children. Unfortunately,
that's
become monetized too now.
Of course it
there was a lot in the media about 2 years ago about guardian ad litems who had all gotten together to rig the system.
Are you serious?
In St. Louis County, this happened.
I did not hear about that.
And then a lot of parents were very pissed. And believe it or not, one of those guardian ad litems, I paid a lot of money to years before it.
Well, you know what? If people can find a way to profit off of something, they will, even if it's children, unfortunately.
What if it goes the other way? What about child support? Is any of that figured into this? The monetary amount set towards who pays for the kid?
My primary focus, even though I literally got driven, I'm not exaggerating. At one point, I was eating food out of trash cans and dumpsters. That's not an exaggeration.
I did too, but I worked at Showbiz Pizza Place.
But I'm more interested in memories with my son because I can never get those back. I can always someday get back on my feet financially. I'm not yet. But that is one thing that happens, though. If a situation is 50-50, both parents contribute equal unless there's a big disparity in income. But barring that, each should take care of their own expenses. Yep. But what happens right now, people don't realize the non-custodial parent is not only paying for the bedroom in the other house, but you're paying in your house. You can't go to the mortgage company and say, you know what, my son's only with me for 4 days a month.
Yes.
I just pay for this bedroom 4 days a month. So you're
Eric,
paying
been there,
double
done that,
expense.
buddy.
Yeah.
I did it.
system is not fair.
I did it.
I was literally paying child support to someone living in a $4,000 a month home in Ladue on 6 acres, while I was living in a $68,000 condo eating food out of trash cans.
So what's the movement on all of this right now? Is it going, is there a move? You said in the red states and the blue states, it's not. Is there a movement to kind of relook at this whole, child protective, whoever divorce situation, like from child payments to the custody? How is that getting fleshed out right now? And what could we see coming from your bill?
That's basically what we're doing. There's about 1,500 to 2,000 organizations in what we know as the shared parenting community. There's 3 big ones. And the 3 big ones, we're all working together to try and create these changes. But we're going against, lobbyists. These bar associations are paying millions of dollars a year to lobbyists. And most of us are volunteers.
Yeah.
I'm an Uber driver. I'm supporting my efforts by driving for Uber, which isn't even paying my own bills. So it's a grassroots effort that we're all doing and knocking away slowly. The 2 things we need to do is start with a premise of 50-50 for custody. Then we need to start attacking this federal funding mechanism at the federaal level that's creating that.
Are men stigmatized by going to court and saying, I cannot pay all this? Is there a stigma of men who like you just said, have to pay for their own mortgage and the mortgage of the ex and all that?
Believe it or not, that's helping us with a lot of the Democrats. Carla May, who was the primary sponsor of the base of this bill, in the Missouri Senate has been a big supporter of ours, and she spoke herself 2 years ago at the Senate hearing. She made the statement. She said, "In my district," she said, "Black fathers aren't walking out. They're being chased out because they know they can't afford an attorney, and they know that they're going to be stigmatized as
deadbeat."
Yeah, exactly, a deadbeat dad. So they're being chased out in her district." She said,
My issue with a lot of this, I agree with everything you say, but I think a lot of the problems we have in our inner cities.
Wait a minute, Vic, did you hear she agreed with everything someone said?
That was the most positive.
You must listen. You must listen to our show.
I do. It just makes me think of those situations where, and I don't know how this works. I've never been married. I've never been through divorce. I've been through a custody hearing. But when it comes to a situation, let's say you're married, you've been married for 15 years, whatever. And you live in a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood, and you split up. So now your kids, and let's say you get 50-50 custody. The kids are going to be with you 50% of the time, 50% of the with the mom. Usually it's the guy that moves out and the woman stays in the home. And then you always hear these arguments, well, the kids should be able to remain in the family home. Let's not uproot them from their home, but yet the woman might not be able to afford to pay for the home. How does that work, and how do you guys advocate for that situation? Do you suggest that both parents, you're moving out and that she should move out too, and you both live in apartments so that you can each share custody of the kids and split expenses? Yeah. Is that better for the kid to take them out of their home, or I'm just trying to understand the logistics of it.
I don't think you can say one situation's ideal for everything.
Right.
However, I do notice, as I said, in my own situation, where I was dropping a child off to a multi-million-dollar home with BMWs,
not fair,
while he was coming to my house, and I literally could not afford to take him out to eat. I couldn't afford. Fortunately, his love language is quality time. But if it wasn't for that would really be a detriment to a child to have those two extremes. But you know what? What happens if a couple's married and the primary breadwinner loses their job? What happens if they make a career change? Families adjust.
Yes,
well, you know what? If a divorce or separation happens, the family needs to adjust, and they need to work through things for the child and to try and figure out what's truly best for the child, not how we can monetize the situation.
What age can a child choose right now in the courts? For example, you don't want these situations, but what if a child says, you know what? I don't want to spend time with my mom. I don't want to spend time with my dad because of whatever the reason was and things happen. How do you?
It varies from state to state. In Missouri, it's age 12. And matter of fact, this new bill written in there is I forget the exact verbiage, but something to the effect of the unimpeded view of the child. Because what happens in many cases, you get one parent, not in many, but in a percentage, you get a toxic co-parent, and intentionally toxic, where they will literally make sure that child knows, you better pick me. And so the child may realize, you know what, I really want this parent who's being abused, but I can't do that because this parent's going to make me pay a price.
Horrible.
And so they pick the toxic parent, knowing, and sadly, there have been a lot of suicides that have happened because a child felt guilt because they ended up alienating another parent. And that's why I said, if it comes to it, I don't want my child to have to choose. I want him to know I love him unconditionally. I'm going to love him no matter what. If worst case scenario, we'll meet back up at age 18.
Yeah. So you think that a parent, even if kids say, I don't want to live with my mom, I don't want to live with my dad, you think the other parent should still say, listen, you need to, regardless of your feelings?
My personal belief, I think the child still needs 50-50. Regardless, a child, I don't think is at an age to comprehend that they need both parents.
Yeah, 12 to 16, 17. I know it's a tough age. It really is. I know.
It's just a tough situation because, no situation is equal. Situations are so different. It's so hard sometimes for me to wrap my head around this. The courts have been so unfair to fathers. I've read these stories over and over again about fathers committing suicide, having drug problems or alcohol problems or, complete breaking down because they were in a situation like yours.
Yeah, that matter of fact, what's
and sometimes at no fault of their own.
Veteran suicides, but what people don't realize, 14 of those 22 suicides a day from veterans are people that were involved in a family court battle.
Law court. When did this start? Is this like a 50s, 1950s thing, 60s? Because the family structure was a lot different way back in the day than it is now. Today, it's a lot. I mean, there's all kinds of weird variables.
What is it? 64% of marriages end in divorce, something like that right now. So we have to think that these courts or day in and day out dealing with these situations with children and trying to figure out what to do, what's best for the parents, what's best for the kids. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so fortunately in Missouri, we're going to start seeing some changes for the benefit of the kids, because there's a lot of kids that have suffered as a result of this.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
Anything that we haven't covered that you think's important too? Because I know we've been firing off some of the questions that you had on the list and some of our own things. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I do have a very active Facebook page for Americans for Equal Shared Parenting, because there's a lot of non-custodial parents out there that when it first happens to you, you feel like you're all alone. I can tell you, when it happened to me during those 204 days when my son was taken from me, I can remember night after night sitting on my couch crying, just staring at my ceiling, feeling I'm all alone. And there's a lot of people that are going through that right now. And please reach out, follow a page. You're not alone. I can promise you this is prevalent. And it's very, very serious, because as our favorite co-host here said, but yeah, there's a lot of suicides that happen, and there is nothing more dramatic or more traumatic for a child than losing a parent for good, because they couldn't handle the pressure.
I'm sure you've seen that.
So
do you know some people?
There's 8 people that I personally have talked to over the last 8 years that I talked to them and found out a week later that they were no longer around.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It has me as a child. My parents split up when I was 6. And ended up living in 2 different states. I would see my dad 1 week out of every year, and once in a while on holidays. Do you know, I haven't seen him maybe since I was 16, and I ran into him one day. He didn't even know who I was. I mean, that's why people have to be so careful with your kids to make sure that you keep that bond, that you make sure your kids and their other parent interact. It's so important. I was extremely lucky because I had a wonderful stepfather who has always been a good father to me, but not all kids are that lucky.
Oh my God. Joe gave us or Ken from the comment line gave us a stat: 4,000 people a day enter a family court.
Right.
In the United States nationwide.
When you think about literally almost every marriage ends in divorce.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of issues.
Half of all kids are born out of marriage anyway. So,
that also
happens a lot.
Well, we appreciate you jumping in with us today and educating us in this market. I'm familiar with you. We've done work in the past. We had you on the old show over at the Viper on the Edge. We're grateful for you jumping back in with us today to keep us up now. But now you got a bill that's going to get passed.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's been, I've worked on it 8 years. There's a couple other people have worked on it 9 years. As I said, it's a whole team of people that have worked on this, and it's just been a neat thing to finally.
And God bless you for the work that you're doing too. Especially, you wouldn't have been doing this had you not gone through the situation.
I wouldn't have even known that there was a problem.
The trauma had you not gone through it. And of course, you took something from it. So. Hey, we're grateful for you jumping in today, my friend. And how can people find you again?
The easiest way is on Facebook. We've got a very active called Americans for Equal Shared Parenting. And then we have a website, afesp.com.
All right. Well, we thank you for jumping in for Cancel This today, my friend. All right.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much,
That's
man.
Mark Ludwig, the executive director of Americans for Equal Shared Parenting. And anybody that's gone through anything like that knows what hell that is. That is for sure. That does it for our Cancel This podcast today for our June 1st edition. For Joe Pro, Lizzie Sparks, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, I'm Vic Faust. Have an awesome day. Tomorrow is the Friday, Paranormal Free for All Friday. Tabitha told us about something that happened yesterday.
But I won't be here tomorrow.
I know, but we can still talk about it.
Can.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, we'll talk about it. You wanted to only do it yesterday at 9:30 during our show. The government?
What was it?
NASA?
Oh, yes.
What?
Well,
NASA.
you guys will have to talk about it tomorrow.
I need to know what.
I am going to be at the Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame golf tournament tomorrow. And we're going to have hopefully a Cancel This poll
Watch
that
your
we
mouth.
are sponsoring.
We'll get into it all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time